Welcome everyone. I'm excited. I'm seeing my little girl from South Africa and I'm seeing Italy. No, come on family. It's really going to be awesome today. Okay. Midlife crisis. How to overcome it. That's what we're doing on Mama Helen and You show today. It's really going to be incredible because you see, we need to start addressing some of these issues in order to be able to help people around, should I say, in order to help each and every one of us. It's very important. Some of these issues are, you know, swept under the carpet without really dealing with them, and it has caused a lot of pain. It has caused, many things, to people around the world. And today, it's really going to be awesome. So, I needed to get everyone in. This is the time to share. This is time to click on the share button. We just have less than 2 minutes before I bring in our guest. So do whatever you need to do right there. Click on the share button and begin to bring in people. Share, 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 share. Wherever you're watching around the world, this is welcoming you. Yes, this is actually welcoming you to Mama Helen and You show today. And the topic, yes, midlife crisis, how to overcome it. That's what we're looking at today. So help me bring as many people possible in and let us have a ball today. I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay? Hallelujah. Yes, 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 yes. Good evening, sweetheart. Good evening, good evening. Let's pull in people. It's really going to be powerful. I can almost tell. I can few more seconds and that's it. Okay. I think we need to start now. Okay. Wherever you're watching around the world, I want to use this opportunity in welcoming you to Mama Helen and You show today, all the way from the United Kingdom. And of course, we're looking at today's wonderful topic, which is midlife crisis, how to overcome it. Oftentimes, setbacks during adulthood can be so challenging and severe. Individuals in midlife are often faced with a state of uncertainty about their identity, life choices, and mortality. During this period, according to experts, people are sometimes overwhelmed by strong feelings of dissatisfaction, unhealthy coping skills, behavior changes, increased sadness, frustration, and sometimes depression. What could be the reason behind this, and how can peace be found in this challenging stage of one's life? And that's what we are looking at today on Mama Helen and You show, dwelling on a very important topic, midlife crisis, how to overcome it. Now, I have a wonderful guest in the house today that is actually going to be helping us to do justice to today's topic. Yes, he's an experienced man. As a matter of fact, by the time I bring him up, I'm sure you would understand. And I know with his wealth of experience, he will be able to help us mitigate this, because quite a number of people are going through this around the world. Okay, would you please help me receive today on Mama Helen and You, Chief Arillo. Chief Arillo is currently a legal practitioner and notary public of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with 21 years of post-call experience. His Bachelor of Law, LLB degree, second class, upper class of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria, in addition to a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, which he earlier obtained from the Edo State University, Ekpoma. These are the highest academic degree he has, however, awaiting his result in Masters of Laws, etc., etc. Based on his wealth of experience in peace building, Chief Arillo was engaged by the International Foundation for Education and Self-Help and the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, in several conflict mitigation activities in the Niger Delta of Nigeria. In recognition of his skills, the Delta State government of Nigeria engaged its services in the peace efforts, resulting in the bilateral agreement between the Ijois and the Ishakuris of Warri, Delta State of Nigeria, a then conflict hotspot. The degree of chief, who is also a barrister, it's actually something that is of noble. And today on Mama Helen and You, I would like to welcome Chief Robinson Hario. It's such a pleasure having you on set today, Chief.
The pleasure is mine. Nice to see you again. And
beautiful,
may I say,
beautiful. Can you kindly try, increasing your volume?
Okay.
Your volume is quite low so that our audience can hear you, and I can hear you as well.
Can you hear me well now?
Okay.
Is it better?
It's not better. It's not better.
Well, I'm coming. Let me see. I think it's my.
Hello. Oh my God. We just lost him. I'm sure he's going to try to come back again. Chief, we can't wait to have you, because today's topic is very, very important. Okay, thank you very much. He's coming back again. Hopefully this time around it's going to be more, the volume is going to be far better. Okay, Chief, you're back on again.
Yes, I'm back. But is it
maybe
better?
You should try to just increase your volume. Can you try?
Is the audio better now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now? Hello.
Okay. We're hearing you, but can you try to increase the volume a little? I mean, your voice now. Your voice. If you're having difficulty from your end, just try to raise your voice. That's all. Okay. Well,
okay.
Chief, it's a pleasure having you.
The pleasure is mine. It's beautiful to see you again after some time.
I know. And I can't wait to engage you right now on the topic of today, because a lot of people are actually suffering as a result of today's topic. Hence the need for us to actually look at it. And it isn't only just individuals alone, but even people as well. A lot of people are suffering as a result of this. Okay, so let us start by defining what midlife is all about. What is midlife?
Well, midlife is a point in life. And because this particular piece of knowledge just began documentation. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, please go ahead.
Just began being documented in the early 50s. And so you find that the matrix that was used to measure life expectancy then was between 100, 0, 100, 0, 120. And so if you went for the middle of that life expectancy, you will be having a figure between 45 to 60. In other words, midlife is the middle. It is expected that, for instance, the life expectancy of a man is 100 years. And then if you were to get the average, the middle of that, it will be 50. So if it is 90, it will be 45. So it's a notional explanation of a figure depending on the life expectancy. And so as at the time this body of knowledge began, the life expectancy then was between 100 and 90. And so the middle of it would be between 45 and 40. And so midlife, like the word mid explains, connotes, is middle, the middle of life. Of course, we all know that not everybody is endowed with the divine gifts or divine privilege of living up to 50 years.
So true.
So, and so that's why I say it's a notional calculation. Notional in the sense that it is presumed that if the life expectancy were 90 years, the middle of it will be 45. And so you will see that by the time we go on into this discussion, midlife in terms of figure ranges between 40, 45 to 60, meaning that the middle of the life that a person is expected to have lived. But this has changed over the years. But what you have in the books today is middle being 45, between 45 and 60. So it is the point of life that is considered to be the average, the middle, the halftime, if you may, the halftime. You know, just like you have football matches that are 90 minutes. Okay. Now, 45 minutes would be halftime. So if you take that expression, you just say the halftime of a human being. That's the
I think it has been well answered, Chief. I think it has been well answered. So let us now pick it up from midlife crisis then. Since we've been able to understanding about what midlife is, so what is midlife crisis?
Yeah, it is interesting because of the word crisis. Usually, when people talk about crisis, you want to see two parties.
Okay.
But in this case, it is just one person. So it is within that notion of that is a conflict, a crisis inside a person involving only one person alone. This is not a crisis between you and some other person. This is a crisis that occurs only within a person. So midlife crisis is the crisis, the turmoil, the confusion that arises at approximately around the middle of your life, the figure we just gave now, where you would have been reassessing, reviewing, monitoring, evaluating all that you have been able to do, and wondering whether or not you have been able to achieve, whether or not the expectations you have for your life at that point in time have been met. And such, because it's a cocktail of experience. Cocktail of experience in the sense that at this point, some people will be thinking of their mortality, you know, and they will be thinking that, okay, if at this point in time I'm close to my death, have I been able to achieve all that I intend to achieve? They will think of their classmates. They will think of their wives. They will think they will assess the entire life and ask, did I really make the right choice where I am now? Could it have been better? Could it have been better if I had, taken another person? Am I aging? This is my age. I mean, don't I want to live forever? Because you see, no man wishes to die. Everybody wants to live forever. So you find that it could be as a result of the fear, the anxiety, the apprehension that I'm getting old. What can I do to ensure that I look younger? And as we go on, you will see that the different stages, reflect some of these components. The first one will be, let me not let the cat out of the bag. But,
Fantastic, Chief. Because we just have less than 45 minutes to go. Let's see how we can. Wonderful. But to be honest, you're quite engaging, and I love what I'm getting already from the floor. Now, my next question to you is, does gender play a role in how a midlife crisis unfolds? Meaning, who is affected by midlife crisis?
Everybody is affected. Gender does not play a role. It's just that in different genders, it manifests differently. The responses are quite different. For example, in the male gender, in an attempt to respond to this crisis, the man may want to let go of the wife he has always been with to get attracted to the younger folks, okay? To get married to a younger person. And that's when you find men of 60 years getting married to young ladies of 20 years, because they do not actually know what they are trying to respond to that crisis in them. They will start looking at the person they started their lives with in
Yeah.
marriage and wondering whether it was the right choice, whether it was the wrong choice. And some of them will start getting saturated. They will start the whole enthusiasm, the joy, the flavor that the entire relationship started with will no longer be there. You know, there is this saying in English language that familiarity breeds contempt. You know, when you get used to a thing over and over and over and over again. I'm giving the male example because you find that men are much more prone to that line, the line of trying to get another partner, you know, as opposed to the person they have come all the way from. Now, for the women, you also find that such things as surgery of different parts of their body, because they want to deny. You know, as we go on, you'll see that the different stages of midlife crisis manifest themselves in one. The first stage is denial. You know, they want to deny that they are aging. They want to deny they have not been able to meet, you know, the expectations. They want to kind of create an illusion that what the reality is not what it is. And you know, and they move from there to anger, you know, anger about, you know, the state, the situation that they find themselves, as a feeling of frustration and resentment, you know. Then you also find that they start attempt to replay their lives, you know, all over, and trying to relish in the beautiful one. Sometimes you find that some of them will want to go back to their old-time lovers. They will want to relish how it used to be. Okay, then there is the stage of depression, withdrawal, and finally acceptance. They begin to accept the state in which they find themselves. So the point I'm trying to make is that it manifests itself in different ways in the different sexes. So in other words, for the man, what you see them do will be quite different from what you see the women do. And that's why you see some men, they want to look younger, buy a motorbike. Instead of driving a car, they are driving a fashion bike. You know, they are, yes, old men driving fashion bikes, driving open top vehicles, sporty vehicles. Then wearing jeans, you know. So you start seeing all these, you know.
And so many things there, but because of time, so what are the signs and symptoms of a midlife crisis? What are the signs?
Yeah, you see the signs, a lot of things. You will see that the lifestyle, one of the things is that the lifestyle will change. You'll find that if it's somebody that used to catch a lot of sleep before, you know, would hardly be able to sleep, you know. And you find that you also find situations where such a person will start, you know, withdrawing in some cases, because the manifestations are different. There are a variety of manifestations depending on the type of the personality and the sex. You find some of them withdraw. Those that used to be very, very sociable begin to start withdrawing to their shell. They start becoming less sociable than they used to be. And
what about regret? What about regret, for example?
Of course. Thank you very much. You know, I was just trying to remember all of that. As you can see,
you're right on point. You're doing extremely well.
Thank you very much. I hope audio is okay.
Yes, your audio is fantastic. Audio, you're quite audible. Yes, your audio is fantastic. Awesome. So there are so many factors. I mean, I just the reason why I ask for the signs is because sometimes people might not really know. that they're actually going through midlife crisis, in order for them to be able to mitigate it. Because if you do not know, then how can you do your very best in overcoming it? And so hence the question of some of the signs, as it were.
Yeah. So when you see a man that used to be very sociable, that used to be very, very energetic, very,
Yeah.
very much alive, suddenly begin withdrawing. Let us bear in mind that
Hello, Chef. Chief Ario, we're
yeah,
no longer
um,
beautiful. You're back
uh,
now. You're back. Wearing,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So so the point I was making is the last question. Can I get the question again? I'm sorry, I
Um,
lost
the signs, I understand. I mean, the signs of midlife crisis so that it can be mitigated.
it. When we all know what people, what our friends, what those around us, if we pay attention, what they are like.
That's
There
right.
are some there are some people who are very, very outgoing, who are sociable, who
Mm-hmm.
are who talk a lot. There are
Okay.
some who are very, very warm. If suddenly there is a radical departure, there's a radical decline in
Mm-hmm.
such an activity, it is just a flag. You see, there are a cocktail of flags. It is not just one single flag that you
Fine.
will look at.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
and if you see somebody in constant sober mood that they never used to be in sober mood before, because you see sometimes the events that could trigger these are also a chain. There are
Mm-hmm.
a plethora of events that could trigger it. For example, when somebody loses somebody very dear to him or
That's
her,
mm-hmm.
that could also trigger it at that particular stage in life. you know
Okay.
um I know of a young man who is within that range, who lost both his father and his mother in 1 week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in just 1 week. And
Oh,
so, and this was a guy who used to be very, very alive, bubbling guy. But suddenly, you started seeing him withdraw.
withdrawn.
You
Mm-hmm.
started seeing him less being. And the danger in this is that such a person can tend towards suicide, and that is one thing we have to start watching out for. When there is a radical departure from the way a person used to behave, from the behavioral pattern, we
Mm-hmm.
all unconsciously know the way people behave. For instance, I know that Mama Ellen is a very lively person, is a bustling person. And if suddenly, I start seeing such radical changes,
Yeah.
that should be a flag. So this young man started locking himself up. You know,
Hmm.
he
Wow.
he he wasn't going out as much any longer. And
Wow.
so you find that, you know, you can imagine that in his mind, he will be
Mm-hmm.
wondering, these
Mm-hmm.
are people who brought him up,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing that we must remember is that the death of our neighbors always remind us of us. That is the
Mm-hmm.
humanity in us, you know.
Life. Awesome.
So, and that quotation is not mine, it's St. Augustine's. He said that the death of my neighbor reminds me of mine. So,
Okay, let's jump to this question as well. Let's quickly look at 6 stages of a midlife crisis. What are the 6 stages of
okay. Beautiful, beautiful. These stages of midlife crisis makes us to understand the midlife crisis better. The first one is denial.
denial?
The
Okay.
very, denial. The
Mhm.
very first thing is that, it's like when we say that the view of the road changes when you move from the passenger seat to the driver's seat.
So true.
Yeah. So when you are at the passenger seat, what you are not seeing
Hmm.
by what the driver is seeing that is making him or her, you
Yes.
know, drive the manner in which he's driving. By the time you get to the driver's seat, you will see things completely differently.
Mm.
And
That's
it's you can liken this denial to what every person who is drunk, who is accused of being drunk, will tell you. Now, 95% of those who get drunk will tell you, do you think I'm drunk?
So true.
That I'm not drunk, I'm in control. So
Yeah.
the denial, that's an example, a typical example of denial.
Okay.
Even, yeah, if it may even be a specialist, maybe a consultant,
Yes.
maybe, because the truth of the matter is that you can hardly treat yourself.
So true.
And this denial shows much more when the person is knowledgeable in it. It could even be the person talking.
Hmm.
It could be the person talking.
So
When I say
true.
the person talking, it could be
Uh,
Chief Harry or Robinson.
den-
Because
now,
one of the first things that I would want to do is to tell those around me that I'm not passing through any crisis.
prices. I'm good. I'm good enough. I'm
I'm
okay.
good. I'm good. That's it. And that was why the example that came to me is that of a person who is drunk. Most of my friends in school in those days that were drunk, whenever I told them they were drunk, they would tell me, "Do you think I'm drunk? I'm in control. I can still drive." You know,
Right.
that is a typical example of
Number.
denial. Then you find the next stage is the feeling of anger, frustration.
Hmm.
They become hostile. You know,
Hmm. Okay.
so and it's an attempt it's a reaction. They can't help themselves,
Hmm.
and then they begin replaying, attempting to relive the past. Because you see, we said at the beginning of this discussion
Yes.
that it is an attempt for us to monitor, evaluate our life, review our lives,
Hmm.
and see how well we have performed.
Hmm.
Okay, so you start playing the beautiful, the highlights, the points at which you won one first class degree, and
That's
trying
right.
to reassure yourself that,
Yeah.
wow, all is beautiful, you know,
Have I?
and, and then you come to a point, the antithesis, depression. You are
Hmm.
feeling it because you are gradually coming to terms with the reality
With the
that
reality.
despite the fact that you replayed all those beautiful things, that
Hmm.
this is the reality. Then you start trying to withdraw and isolate, you know,
Hmm.
especially from those other people. There's a way the society consider those people who are successful. You know, there are some people who, in the eye of the society, are successful, but inside they are eating up.
They are eating up. So,
They are eating up. You think that what you find on the surface is that's a fantastic guy. I want to be like that guy. I want to emulate that guy. I wish I were that guy. And that is why the Englishman will always tell you that the grass is always greener on the other side.
so true. So true. No.
So you start finding that withdrawal, and you now accept, haven't passed through all the others. You now
Hmm.
gradually find that, well, truly, after all. And at this stage, this is a very dangerous, stage. At this stage of acceptance, you are
Hmm.
prone, you are prone to suicidal thoughts, you know,
Hmm.
because for you, the reality has dawned on
Hmm.
you.
You.
And that is why a program like this, that's why enlightenment programs like this are very critical, and they can be life-saving.
So true.
Because by the time you look out for these traits, these symptoms, these behavioral patterns, understand these stages,
Hmm.
then you will be able to know what you need to do to try and mitigate.
Yes.
Because you see, midlife crisis is almost a must for everybody.
Number 4.
Yeah,
Time.
yeah.
No
I've mentioned denial, anger, replay,
replay.
depression, withdrawal,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
then
Okay.
acceptance.
I was counting out before. I didn't know a flash.
So
I you're going flash. Okay, that's good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Denial, 2,
Denial, anger,
anger.
replay,
replace
depression,
depression,
withdrawal, then
withdrawal.
acceptance.
Awesome, awesome, Chief. Thank you so very much. All right,
You
then.
you're welcome.
Is midlife crisis a medical condition?
No, it is not. It's a psychological condition. It's a psychological issue, not a medical condition. It is not what you can. It's not in the sense of being clinical. It's not a
Yeah,
clinical
issue.
issue. Yeah, but it's a. That is why we have all been talking about behavioral pattern.
Mm, mm,
The
mm.
way a person, if you see the summation of all the central message, the central thought in all our discussion has been behavioral change.
Change. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Because
behavioral change.
to know, because when you mention depression, people
Yeah,
might start seeing it as being clinical, but it
yeah,
isn't. It's psychological, and it
yeah,
is something that can easily be mitigated.
yeah,
And that coming from you, as well. Okay. Before we go any further, I would like to address our audience that at any time you can also make your contribution as well. Yes, should you want to also ask some questions, you're permitted to do so. And the number to reach us, which is the WhatsApp number, is +234 +234 9156 166290 +234 9156 166290. That's the number that you can reach us. You can send in a message or whatever. And of course, you can also use the live stream to also reach out to us as well. I want to read from you. I can't wait. This is very interactive. We're all trying to learn here, and we want to see how we can actually cope. Your coping mechanism, should you find yourself in a situation like this, or maybe a loved one, that is all what this program of today is all about. Okay, so we want to hear from you. It's very important. All right, Chief, why do
yeah.
crisis? What are the curses?
Well, we have we have first of all, in the course of our explanation, we
Yes,
have
please.
said that it is a natural part
Mm-hmm.
of our lives. Okay, because we try to monitor, evaluate, look at all that we have done over the years, the period of time down to middle age, and now
Yes.
try to see whether or not we our expectations have been met. Have we overpromised ourselves and under-deliver?
Mm-hmm.
I want this key point. I want this key point to sink in. Whenever we overpromise ourselves and
Mm-hmm.
deliver,
Mm-hmm. In between.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if we overpromise and under-deliver,
Yeah.
that expectation, that dash in the expectation
Mm-hmm.
triggers.
Mm. I want to give an example. There's this young lady, when she was in her 20s, had said to herself that at 40, she probably had, of course, 20, it wouldn't occur to her that she can still walk a little bit more. She still have more than 40, I mean, well, depending on whoever. However, so when she got to 40, she realized that she hasn't achieved much. In fact, as at that time, she was actually looking for a job. So when she approached me, you could see depressed, I mean, she was really depressed and all that. But then I told her, I said, see, listen to me, that you're 40 does not mean that you cannot pick yourself up. I mean, look at the founder of Chicken Filet, is a Captain Sandler or something. I mean, the man actually hit it at 65. So there is no age to defining success or achieving. What it takes is your determination, your willingness to say, okay, whatever it is, I can make it happen. I can achieve success. Okay. And that would help. fine. I'm so glad today. I mean, she's doing marvelously well. So I decided to point to that, to more or less buttress the point you're trying to make right now.
Yeah, yeah. So just by the example you just gave, you
Yes.
see, you find some motivational books. You find sharing real life experience. Just that's real life experience could help somebody out there. You know, there is this clip I watched. It is never too late in life.
Good.
You know, a couple of examples.
Okay.
Look at somebody. Look, the contenders today for the
Yes.
president of the United States of America
That's
are
right.
above 70 years.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
That is both the incumbent president
That's
and
right.
the strongest candidate now. Okay, so if they had sat down at age 45, 50,
Hmm.
say, I had thought about becoming president and now I am not a president,
Hmm.
and they got so depressed and they didn't have the energy to
That's right.
move on,
Hmm.
so looking at the lives of those who failed on their way to success
That's right.
can inspire you
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
know that you can also make it.
Hmm. That's right.
You know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I,
It is never too late. It is never too late
it
to
is
make it.
never too late. Okay. What are the effects of midlife crisis? What are the effects of midlife crisis?
Now, the effects, I like to look at the effect from both the effect on the person and the effect on the person's surrounding, you know, because when you are looking at the effect of such a thing, it has to transcend the person that you perceive to be like the patient or the victim.
That's right.
If if we look at the example that we just gave now,
Okay.
it could lead to broken homes,
Hmm. So true.
and it could lead to disillusionment in the children of such a home, because the first person, the first role model a child
That's right.
is the parents.
So true.
You find that most children want to speak like their daddy, most children want to speak like their mommies,
So true.
and so a lot of expectation and hope are anchored on the head of the home, the
Hmm.
two persons,
Hmm.
both the mother and the father. And so when this midlife crisis strikes
Hmm.
and you are no longer able to stand to play the role you ought to play, the multiplier effect is that it's going to affect the benefits. When I mean benefit, what I mean by benefit now is not pecuniary benefits. Every child is supposed to have balanced parental care. This balanced parental care will ensure that that child in turn is
Hmm.
prepared for challenges of the future.
Awesome. It's prepared for the challenges of the future. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, really racing against time. So I want to see, but honestly, you're doing a good job, Chief. And I'm
Thank
so glad
you.
to have my Helen
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
in this. This is awesome. Now, let me quickly ask you this question. I'm going to come to you, Dr. Caro. Yeah, someone who just dropped. We're going to make reference to it in a moment, but let me look at this question very quickly for Chief to help us answer. And how should you support a loved one through
Good.
me? How?
Beautiful.
How best
I,
can
I I want to take the example that you gave,
you?
listening. That
Hmm,
young lady spoke about, you listen to her.
so true. Hmm,
Just one thing, one line I want to drop is at the point you find such a person around you, just
yeah.
remember that it is two ears you have and one mouth.
Listen.
So you listen more than you talk.
Awesome.
And you try to give the body language that you understand everything, even if you don't understand everything. Because
Hmm,
by having a medium through which the person can ventilate his thoughts
That's
and the
right.
thought received,
Yes.
you douse the tension.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
you give the person a sense of impotence. You
It's-
give the person hope.
That's right. That's right.
So,
That's
and that is very, very critical. So I
that's
could imagine, I could picture you talking to the lady, you
hmm,
listening to the, asking the lady questions.
hmm.
That is number one.
That's number one. Okay.
Listen.
Two.
Be a good listener. Then talk about the importance of getting help.
Hmm.
But don't mention to the person that the person is in midlife crisis. That the person never, never.
My God, oh my God. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. All right. And then, of course, encouragement and so on,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. And you see, one thing is when people are allowed or avail the opportunity of sharing, you know,
The way they feel.
the way they feel with people of similar. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
If three students
Mm-hmm.
fail their bar exam, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and you now have a a gathering in which other students who failed their bar exams can come together and share experience,
Hmm.
you know, because by the time people know that more than one person has the kind of problem that they have,
That's right.
it becomes easier. In other words, a
Mm.
network, a network of people in need of
In need.
such kind of, so that they know that they are not isolated. They are not just the only one.
That's right. Going through that. Hmm.
Yes. And
That's
and it's somebody, it's the kind of work you're doing now that can make that possible, identifying those people, pulling them together and sharing stories with them. They now know that they are not alone in it. The more you know you are not alone in a problem, the easier it is for
so true.
you to
Okay.
go through.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. So, how do you turn these around? How can someone turn his or her life, a midlife crisis, into gain? And how do you have a new start? How do you overcome it? How do you mitigate it?
Good. You see, and that is the goal. In other words, the goal of all this is to
Yes.
turn it around.
Is to turn it
You know,
around.
to turn
Absolutely.
it around. I'll give an example. There
Yes.
is this young lady that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
She she set for herself the goal of
Hmm.
becoming a professor at a particular age,
That's
and the
right.
goal of not getting married at all.
Wow.
Okay, and then when she had a crisis, her midlife
Yeah.
crisis,
That's right.
what, what happened was that she went into all these stages
Hmm.
and became depressed.
Okay.
Now, with encouragement, with listening, with
Hmm.
talking, with
Hmm.
looking at the lifestyle of people who also did it late,
That's right.
she was able to realign what her objectives were. And today she's married.
Wow. Fantastic.
She's married, happily married today. So that is a typical example of how you can turn it around, how you can transform the crisis into a gain, the pain into a gain.
Okay, to a man or a woman who is
Yeah.
feeling, oh my God, I'm having difficulty accepting. Uh, I'm trying to look for a better word to use. Advancing in age. I think that's the best word.
Yeah.
Old, advancing in age.
Yeah.
Um, isn't it important for that person to accept, yeah, change, because I think the greatest, I mean, what would make someone wants to be very youthful. Okay, there's nothing bad in trying to work on yourself to be better than everything, but the psychological is aspect of not beginning to think that there's something missing in your life that will not necessitate you to wanting to change a wife, for example, and for a woman to start withdrawing herself because she feels now that she's no longer in her 20s,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, what would you say to that?
Well, you see, there was a component of our discussion before now, and that is ensuring that you're linking people, who have the same, um, as it were, background, the same issue.
Yes.
For want of word, together. You see, societal pressure
Okay.
is one factor that pushes people into this. So if you have a network of people,
Mm-hmm.
okay, who have the same kind of issue. For instance, let's say a club of men of 70 years, okay,
Mm-hmm.
who can do their things and still enjoy themselves. Not a situation where you have a man of 70 years
Yes.
around majority of 35 years old people,
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
because
Hmm.
naturally he will start thinking like those 35-year-old people. Because if you look at the Maslow hierarchy of human needs, one of one of the most critical one is the need to belong to the society that you are in.
You are here. So true. So true.
So no
That's
matter what no matter what book you have read,
mhm.
if the predominant trait in the society that you are in is sagging, before you know it, a 90-year-old man will start sagging.
so so true. So
So we need to have a situation where those who are advancing in age can have more time to spend together and enjoy themselves in the form of enjoyment that belongs to their class, so
fast.
that they don't start mixing so much, being so much in the midst of people that that are far far younger than them, and wanting to force themselves to be like those people.
People. So accept change in essence. I think that's what you're. That
Exactly.
you know.
Yes.
Let me.
Accept change.
We just have 10 more.
Accept,
Oh,
okay.
uh,
Accept change. Make it easier for you to digest the change you have accepted. You
uh-huh.
know, by having such groupings, by such meetings, such conferences. When I say conference now, meeting of the
People of
same kind of mind, like minds.
beautiful, awesome. Okay, now, Dr. Carol Dixon said, at this point of midlife crisis, other people's failure on their way to success becomes an encouragement to us.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
absolutely. Okay, all right. We might need to skip some questions, but let me just go to this because I know it's very important. Can a marriage survive a midlife crisis, and how?
Absolutely, marriage can. If if we took everything we have just discussed now and
Yeah.
wrote it down somewhere and followed it bit by bit,
Mm,
in other words, knowing when and how,
yes.
seeing the flags, you know. Now, most of the times, it is not the two partners in the marriage that would pass through the crisis at the same time. It's very, it's
It-
uncommon to have the two of them
mm,
pass through it at the same time.
yeah.
So one person will be seeing the flag and
Mm,
knowing what flags are. So,
mm,
and most of the times, because of lack of enlightenment and education, you could
yeah.
even find the other partner telling the other one that you are in what you have now is midlife crisis.
Oh my God. Oh
So, so that would be the path to failure. you know. So,
Okay,
so the,
that's
the
good.
the the more you point to the person, the
Yeah,
raw the raw facts at that stage,
yeah.
because remember that at the early stage of
Mm,
this crisis, the person is involved in denial.
so true.
And so when denial meets
Yes.
somebody that is forcing him to accept, then then you have disaster.
Yeah. on- Truly.
So so it is understanding the flags and knowing what to do. And the greatest tool is what we explained in the number of ears we have and
Mm,
the number of mouth we have. You know,
listening mechanism.
yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
is a
So
ability. Mm,
yes,
that's good
you know
because
that.
I have some questions here that I want us to quickly, look at because we actually have less than 6 minutes, and it's Mensa from Ghana. Mensa from Ghana says, "I'm a man of 50 years old with wife and 2 kids. Presently doing my PhD. Still, I do not feel fulfilled. How do I build my self worth?"
Good. You see, this question has to do with the objective, the goal that he set for himself about 30 years ago.
That's right.
So, in order for us to appreciate and be able to respond to this, we have to go back. If you were to ask him what were his strongest desire 30 years ago, he may have told you that he wanted to have a PhD.
Hmm. Hmm. That
And
now
now,
it, and here he is still feeling very um,
good. you see, you see. So,
good.
so, so most of that's why we said that the crisis is about evaluating all that you have done and asking yourself whether it is worth it, whether it is where you are supposed to be, whether you made any gaffe along the way which you want to readjust.
Okay. I think so. If I may just quickly come in there, Chief, because of time, we just have less than 5 minutes to go. We must celebrate little success. Okay, we do not necessarily have to have it all. No
Yeah.
one has. One has it all. Even if you ask Matt Zibelworth, Matt Zibelworth, who was the founder of Facebook and many, many more, will still tell you that there are some things that he would still love to achieve, or there are things that he ought to have achieved that is yet to achieve. So that comes to bear. However, whatever stage you are, celebrate it and be appreciated about it. And after all, you still have life. I think that's the most important thing. And there are millions of people that will try, that will want to be where you are right now. And so be grateful to God for that. But this is not to say that you shouldn't encourage self-improvement. However, be grateful to God, and of course, give yourself on it, a little pat at the back for the success you have been able to achieve so far, in addition to what Chief have said already. Now, I need to run because of time. I'm so sorry. Dele from Lagos State says, when I nearly got married, I had opportunity of traveling abroad for greener pastures, but refused because I don't want to leave my wife behind. Ever since then, I have been trying to travel again, but to no avail. It's been 7 years. Now I have no job. My wife nags me and shouts all the time. It's becoming unbearable. It seems the regret of my past is haunting me. How do I cope?
Okay. I would like to tell him a short story.
Okay.
You know, I told my very good friend that 2 days ago. I said, the day that Dele was born,
Yes.
several thousands of other children were born
Hmm.
that day. Several thousands never lived, were aborted. Remember, today, Dele is a graduate, the person who posted that. When he was in primary school, some
Yeah.
of his mates, some
Hmm.
of his mates died off. The those that were born with him the same day, some were born blind, some
That's
were born dumb, some were
right.
born deaf, some were
Hmm.
born unable to walk, some
Word.
were born incomplete in the sense that you had two children as one and they cannot move together. They
True.
cannot move except together.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
you see, you, I, for example, I would have been dead, but for the grace of God. I was in school, and I'm sure that Dele was also in school. If Dele looks back, Dele will see that not everybody who started primary school with him is alive today.
Exactly. So Dele, I think what Chief is trying to say, we have two. You just 2 more minutes to go. In 1 second, Chief, somebody's out there and saying, we still have more questions. Sorry, we won't be able to take that. Maybe if we have a second episode, we might be able to address everything else today. However, Chief, your parting word, what would you say to someone out there who is actually under this and wants help?
I will say
1 second.
that, yes, I will say that if those who have died in accident were asked to be in their position, the position of those who are depressed now,
Yes.
that buses will be filled.
Hmm. You are
If
alive.
they were, if they were, yeah, so just to be alive.
So
There
be
are
great
many people, yes,
because
be grateful yes, because you are alive.
you are alive. Awesome, awesome, Chief. Thank you so very much. You have a lot to share. I can almost Well, everyone out there, thank you very much around the world. I can see quite a number of people from the US, from Europe, Africa, and the likes. Thank you so very much for being a part of today's show on Mama Helen and you. And of course, the topic of the day, which is midlife crisis and how to overcome it. I want to believe that one way or the other, you've been able to glean from what you have listened to this man, great man, Chief Harry talked about tonight. And then, of course, you would also help others as well, because, of course, there are changes to life. And then I would also want to say, that in order for you to also mitigate this, accept your change as we've been told, okay, find your purpose and flow with it. It's very important. Don't prioritize, also said prioritize self-care. Self-care is important. And then, just like we've been told, the need for you to be around people that will be able to encourage you, adjust your perception of midlife and aging. It's very, very important. And then at the end of the day, come on, you are alive. Anything can happen. Speak to yourself. You are just on the road path to success. If you haven't achieved it yet, you will achieve it, regardless of age, gender, or what have you. There is no stopping you. Don't stop yourself. Okay? Pick yourself up and be everything that God has ordained for you to be on earth. Chief, Chief,
Thank you very much.
uh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much indeed.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
your wealth of experience and, of course, the high level wisdom you are spoken tonight speaks so highly of you. And
Thank
I'm grateful to have you on. And I'm sure our audience out there around the world are also saying a big thank you to you as well for being a part of today's show. Thank you so very much.
Welcome, welcome. Pleasure to be here.
Amen. And then, of course, to everyone out there, it's a big thank you to you. Thank you for being a part of today's show. We really do appreciate you. You're the best thing ever. And notice that some of us are just coming in. I would advise that you watch it from the beginning because, oh my God, Chief Barrister Robinson Ario really spoke so powerfully, and you do not want to miss any points dropped by this great man today. So thank you from us to you. Thank you for being a part of today's show, and God bless you. Bye bye.
All right.